Fool's Gold. That's a song of mine, and it's something that I've experienced. Things that I cherish, things that I thought were real, like and dear to my heart. Gold. Things that you want to place high value on turned out to be the opposite. So yeah, I'll just say that for now. But as far as the 49ers, I've been quick to not too quick to jump on the Super Bowl train and anoint them as the best team in the league, especially after 3 straight losses. Man, it's just like, man, see, they were 5-0, reading their own headlines and feeling real good about themselves. It's just like in life, once you think you got it all figured out, once you think everything's going your way, then right around the corner comes catastrophe and knock you right off your feet, right back to square one. And that's kind of what it looked like for them the last few weeks with 3 straight losses. But a big part of that was the fact that Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel weren't on the field. And you saw that yesterday in the game against the Jaguars make a huge difference, make a big difference, man. So, yeah, we right back on the saddle. So I'm not going to make any predictions, but I see that this is the way they played yesterday. If they play like that against anybody, I don't think they can. I don't think they can be beat for real. Like they got all the pieces to the puzzle. I would say the one weakness is still pass protection, especially on the right side. But you know what? That's something that we can scheme to fix. Keeping 2 tight ends in. And doing things like running screen passes to kind of negate the rush. But overall, I would say that we look good. We look like we back on track. Having Steve Wilkes back on the sidelines is you be able to get the pulse of the defense and get in people's face and kind of like challenge them instead of being far up in the booth. How to call down on the sidelines on the phone, that's going to be not as impactful as it would be have you be on the sidelines, be able to, they can feel your presence and you can make decisions quicker on the run, on the fly. You can still see the whole field with the iPad and everything else they got, the technology they got going on. You ain't got to be all the way up in the booth to really make calls as a defensive coordinator. So, one thing I'll say, I think Chase Young, that addition made a big difference. It's gonna unlock Bosa, man, because he looked like he was not the same player. I don't know if it was. I was thinking like, well, he came in right before the end of training camp, and he didn't have a training camp, and it showed on the field. I think he only had like 2.5 sacks, in half the season. That's all bad for somebody like him. He was Defensive Player of the Year. You would think he would be at least about 8-9 sacks by now, but nah. So with Chase Young coming in, they're not going to be able to double Bosa because you got 2 bookend rushers. They're going to have to pick their poison. So somebody's going to get free because that's, the talent level on that line is too strong. They can get home with just 4, and that made a big difference yesterday. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they come together, and that's, man, we right back on track where we want to be.
What's the full start?
Okay. We started with so I said, like, the 49ers, is this going to be the year? Is this going to be that 6th Super Bowl ring, or is this fool's gold? You know what I mean? Is this just more teasing us of the same old shit as the outcome? Like,
yeah,
they went 0-3 the last 3 weeks, and now all of a sudden they get a big win, and they front running again. Everybody's back on the bandwagon. Like, what do you think?
The 49ers, it's going to come down to, can Shanahan produce a game plan in a big moment to where the quarterback can still be hidden? I don't know if you can continue to hide the quarterback. The better teams that you start to play And Purdy has been as effective as you can get for what they're trying to do. But you need somebody at that position that's going to be able to make off-schedule plays. I don't see him as that player. And in the last 3 weeks, those defenses have exposed that in his game.
Yeah.
And whenever the 49ers this year, and it really in the tenure of Shanahan, whenever they are playing even in the score or they're having to play catch up, then they're in trouble. Because a lot of his things are designed to play with the lead, designed to have a passing game off the running game where you've controlled clock and the whole basically game with ball control and an effective defense. After the bye, the defense looks like they're ready again for Super Bowl level. It's just, can that offense really produce when it comes down to it? When the Niners were in the Super Bowl, I feel like they played well enough to win that game. And the difference was the quarterback wasn't capable of making an off-schedule play. Like, Garoppolo had, who was that was wide open deep? Sanders, right?
Yeah.
He had Sanders naked deep down the field. If he could have just put a little more oomph on the ball, and he just came up short. Like, he didn't have the arm strength. A lot of weaknesses in Purdy's game is related to arm strength or lack thereof. So I think that, if there's a weakness or fool's gold, it kind of relies in that position.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He's rated, I think I saw some stat that he was rated number 1 in QBR. And, I don't know if the last 3 weeks has something to do with that concussion. But, this week, seemed like all is well. Other than that touchdown he threw in the first quarter, the first play, or the first drive was like, that was a bad throw and a bad decision. It was in the triple coverage, and he got lucky on that one. So, right now, it's like a wait and see. But, yeah, when you're talking about the elites, like, that can make off-schedule plays like a Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, or like, you think back to Brett Favre, people like that with the arm strength, to be John Elway, that could to scramble and, have to make a play. He was drafted last for a reason, but
right, exactly.
The only hope that you can have is he going to be like that Tom Brady, the one that was he just found a way to get it done. He didn't have all the athletic tools, but he was smart. It was just like his brain. You know what I'm saying? Can he develop that high level of presence out there on the field to where he mentally beats you? I don't know. I don't know if he can do that. Probably not.
Well, when he's had the full array of weapons to his disposal, he's pretty much shown that he's capable. It's the synonymous thing with those losses was no Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he hasn't had Deebo Samuel, he's Rich Gannon at best.
Yeah.
He's a moderate to average quarterback without Deebo Samuel. But you can say that with a lot of quarterbacks that have played for the Niners now. Deebo Samuel's just got to stay healthy, man. Like, I think as far as their chances, him and Trent Williams, those two guys are too crucial on the offensive side to be hurt again. They got to stay healthy, and they got to keep that ball rolling with the weaponry that they have at their disposal. They got to get back to running the football a little more. And I like that kid behind McCaffrey. I think he need to get some carries, man. What's his name? Mason?
Oh yeah, he ain't been playing. I don't know what's up with him. They need a more physical as the 1-2. Like the number 2 back got to come in and be more like a run
A
people over,
banger.
obstructing people, and he was doing that, but he don't get no run. I think they're gonna fuck around and find out that they're overusing McCaffrey, and at some point he's gonna get hurt again. Like they gotta start mixing that up. Elijah Mitchell, he's good, but he goes down too easily, man. He's not breaking tackles, and sometimes his vision doesn't seem that great either. Like he's running in the back of his line, his guards and shit. Because why is he averaging like his average is way lower than McCaffrey's, and the boy he got speed. He runs a 4.3, but it's not.
I remember, was it last year he came on the scene?
It was 2 years ago. Yeah, he almost had 1,000.
Yes, and he was running hard. Then injuries, man. I guess sometimes as a football player, if you get injured in the right locations, you're just never going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And if attacking holes and stuff was his MO, and he didn't really have the wiggle, or he wasn't a multi-dimensional back or none of that, then people like Mason going to end up surpassing him on the depth chart. But the way I saw Mason running, I like that kid.
About them dubs, man. So far, I mean, the Warriors was looking good when they first was coming out the gate this year, starting up at 6-2. Now they're 6-5. I don't know. I think the bottom line is Steph can't do it by himself. He's an all-time great. He doesn't seem like he's aging. He's in his mid-30s. I could see him playing another 5 years. So what are they going to do to make sure that he can at least get 1, maybe 2 more rings? I mean, it just seems like what he has around him is just, I mean, we could possibly do something, but I don't know. It's really inconsistent. And people like Clay are getting up in age. Draymond's getting up there in age. He's been playing well, actually. But the production as far as wins, we're not dominant at all. Like it's borderline right now. We're in 6th place and it's looking mediocre. So, I mean, what should they do? Maybe I'm thinking let's make a move. I'm getting tired of these same damn excuses. They're undersized, and they're too small, and that's the reason why they lose. Okay, well, do something about it then, man. I mean, you already got rid of Wiseman, whatever it is, maybe the game was too big for him because he's not doing nothing over there in Detroit either. He's not even playing. He's getting DNPs. That's real surprising. It's unfortunate. I mean, I thought that dude had David Robinson type abilities, but he just, for whatever reason, they're saying he gets lost on defense and it's not coming together for him. So, whatever. We got to move on. We got Trace Jackson Davis. He's looked all right, the draft pick, but they need more. I mean, Looney can't do it all. I don't know. Maybe we can figure out a way to put a package together to get a big man in here. That's something that it's a long season, and from what we see right now, I don't think that's a championship team. You know what I'm saying? 6-5. Maybe it's too early to say that. I know it's a long season, and they turn it up to another level in the playoffs. But we kind of seen last year. We seen last year the trouble they had with the Lakers and Anthony Davis and LeBron, and they got shooters too. So it's not like they're just big; they can shoot, and we're not matching them in points, and they're out rebounding us on the glass. In the playoffs last year. So it's like we in trouble, man. If you want a ring, this squad needs a little more. It needs a little bit more. And that's because, mainly Wiggins. Where's he been at? He's averaging 10 points. That's not gonna get it done, man. Clay's averaging 16 points. He's just not that same guy that can go out and get you 40 at any given time. I don't know what's going on. He ain't hit a stride yet. He ain't in rhythm. He ain't warm. I mean, I don't know. Just the production overall. Steph needs a sidekick that could basically damn near do what he can do. And that's hard to find. I mean, I was thinking earlier when I was watching them, they have strength in numbers part 2. They have depth. The bench was looking good with Paul and Kuminga. But these last few games, man, I don't know, man. I really can't call it. I think they got to switch something up. Maybe put Kuminga in the starting lineup. Maybe you start Kuminga. Maybe you sit Wiggins down until he proves that he's that same guy. Because right now, I don't know. I think Kuminga has the potential to be a guy you can build around for the future. He might be the future of the franchise. He's averaging 12 off the bench. He can go to the hole. He's explosive. He can shoot mid-range. He's got to be a little bit more consistent in his mid-range. He's shown that he can hit the three. And yeah, he's got to be a little more consistent with that overall as a shooter. But athletically, just him being on the floor with his athleticism, he's gonna get 20 points. He's gonna get 8 to 10 rebounds. He's gonna make splash plays that are gonna bring the momentum and get the crowd involved. Look like Dominique Wilkins when he's out there athletically, he can dunk. He should be in the dunk contest. Him and Anthony Edwards would be crazy, man. It seems like the players they ain't into it like they was back in the day when it was Jordan and Dominique going at it in the dunk contest. But I can see them two doing that in this day and age, but probably never get to see that. But yeah, man, the Warriors, I just don't think this current roster is going to be able to get that was it the 5th ring in the last 8 years? I don't see it, man. So let me know what y'all think we need to do. Switch up the lineup, or just go ahead and make a trade, man, or both. Got to do something, man. I'm disappointed with what I saw the last few games, man.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the Dubs, man, because they started out looking good, man, and I was like, yeah, this Paul move is definitely a good move. But now the last few games, Steph has no help, man. He's an all-time great. He's going to get his 30 points. He's averaging 30 again. But what happened to Wiggins? What happened to Clay? I mean, Clay, he comes and goes. Wiggins has been not even present at all. He's not there. He's not the same dude. So who's going to help them? They need most times you need a big three nowadays to be able to win. They don't even have a big two. It's just Steph. You know what I'm saying? So should we make a move in the starting lineup, start Kuminga, or should we make a trade? Go get a big man, because I'm tired of this. Oh, they're too small. Well, that's by design, because Kerr got rid of the big man that they were going to try to build around in Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't make a move for Giannis or anybody else. No blockbuster move. You know what I'm saying? All those rumors in the last few years. He wants to play small ball. What do you see with this unit? I don't think this team can, as constructed, is going to win a ring like this.
The problem is you financially committed to Draymond Green.
Yeah.
There's too much of a financial commitment there, and the loyalty to him and Thompson financially is too strong, and they're not producing. That's just what it comes down to. Like, those two guys aren't producing enough. And the NBA in particular, Draymond Green, he is going to be in the negatives in the matchup every night. Okay? Whoever he is playing, that power forward is going to score more than him, at least by 5 to 10 points every night. And there's nothing that most basketball purists are going to say anything about that. That's just the facts. I don't care how good a defensive captain he is and all that. Like, at some point, that's going to catch up. Like, they've won and got away with championships with that for a long time. Mm-hmm. But his effectiveness he's not as effective on the boards. He's not as effective deterring or blocking shots. He's not as much of a deterrent in the paint. Like, people are just going into the Warriors' paint at will.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got people like Saric, who never really was physical as a power forward back in the day when he played for the Suns. And now they're trying to play him at center. And he's maybe 6'10", but, he's a European. He's not going to stack up. Like, what they going to do when they got to play the Sixers? You know what I'm saying? And they got to face Embiid. What they going to do when they got to play the Nuggets? Most of these teams got a guy like that now because of those two guys. You got to match up, Both of them teams looking good now, so it makes sense what you're saying. Like, did they make a trade? Because they have enough ammunition, I think. They don't have to give up a draft pick probably.
They're gonna have to break up that. They're gonna have to break up that core, man, and just think about the future. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the tears and crying that they can do that all they want. But that's what happens, when you move on from one dynasty to the next. Niners was Montana to Rice. Then it was Young to Rice. They got rid of Montana. That was unheard of.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. I was so mad. I knew that the backup was going to make sense, but maybe that's the move the Warriors had to go with one or both of those guys I just said. Like, maybe not Thompson. Thompson, I still got a little faith for, but damn, like, let's get out of blocks something. Like, he don't even have a 20-point game.
Nope.
Nobody else has had a 20-point game.
You saw that?
Outside of Steph Curry. What the hell is that? Wiggins was an all-star last year, but he did only average 17. Or was it last year or the year before that? So Wiggins, you called that out. He's not producing. Like, he should be in the teens, if not the low 20s at least.
Yeah.
If the Warriors are going to be a threat. They got off to a good start, but it was taking Herculean efforts from Curry, and then the Warriors weren't turning the ball over because Chris Paul was helping out with that. Like, he at least protecting the basketball. But then what happens when teams start to see that, hey, we're just going to go to the glass?
Yeah.
And then what? The Warriors they're attacking the paint, and they're shooting a lot more threes against the Warriors to try to match up, but if they miss, they're getting the offensive rebounds. Especially if Looney gets in foul trouble. Because Looney at least is the soldier, the warrior, the Lone Ranger, who's in there always trying to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
Like, that should be Draymond too. Should be. He too busy arguing with the referees and shit.
Let's talk about the ABA. Give y'all an update on my squad, the East Bay Kings. We coming into the season after our best record from the previous year. Semi-pro / pro, whatever you want to call it, is people getting a chance to keep playing and possibly move up to bigger leagues overseas, or possibly even NBA G League, Big Three. So I'm enjoying myself. I'm out there getting buckets with them and, doing a little bit here and there, just getting this franchise off the ground and getting it moving in the right direction. We 0-1. We lost the first game. It's not a lot of games in the schedule, so we got to make each one count. Lost to the Delta Stars out in Antioch, Contra Costa County Delta Stars. It was pretty even, throughout the entire game, but they prevailed in the end. And one thing I got to say is that I think we can hang with any team if we play together as a unit and learn how to play ABA basketball. And we got a lot of guys that don't know the rules and don't know they've never played in this type of with these type of rules, where you get an extra point for a steal in the backcourt, with the 3D light going on. That's something foreign to them. And there's ways that you can create those turnovers, and I think we need to be better at creating turnovers, team defense, and playing more intense defense. And it happened to us last year against the team we about to play, Silicon Valley. They're very experienced, very good at creating turnovers in the backcourt, creating 3Ds. And it was a nightmare last year in San Jose dealing with that. So that's something I've been trying to stress, man. But, we can't just go out there and just hoop, because that ain't this and this ain't that. You got to be smart. You got to play ABA basketball. And we got to be able to implement the things that are going to create turnovers, and that's the full court press. You got to be able to use it and be able to play against it. Ball handling and being able to just not turn it over, take care of basketball. That's going to be key in this league. So what we've been doing, we've been having our Thursday nights, and it's basically game situations. We creating our own men's league out here in the East Bay. Anybody in the Bay, any team can go ahead and register with us. Bay Area Pro-Am Basketball.com. Yeah, we got the Bay Area Pro-Am going on every Thursday night. Looking for teams that want to get a run in, or just individual players can come in. They can register, and if we like you, who knows what could happen. That's a men's league, but I've seen things happen when you find a diamond in the rough. So you consider that league like the practice squad. No guarantees, but it is opportunity. So we're looking at players to join the men's league, so we can get a quality run on Thursday nights and more game-like environment instead of just practicing. And I'll be honest with y'all, at this level, people, it doesn't pique their interest to just practice, man. If it's a game, then they're gonna be more into it and they're gonna show up, man. But it's your life, it's your career. You get back what you put into it, man. When I was coming up, trying to be, get to the league in football, and did nobody tell me to go run track at 5 a.m. so I can go from a 4.4 to a 4.2. You know what I'm saying? I never recorded a 4.2, at the combine, but I did it, when nobody was looking, or when I had my homies there with the stopwatch. You know what I'm saying? So I know how fast I was and what I could do because I worked at it. But that takes a lot of work, man. And then you want to get better at anything, you got to put in the time. You got to believe in yourself. You got to go out there and do it when nobody's looking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm done, man. I'm just out here playing here and there. My real sport was football. I can hoop a little bit. I'm hitting threes, getting buckets here and there. That's for cardio. I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? But for real, this is for the players that's on the team, the players that will be on the team in the future. I'm also with an agency now that can help connect y'all with pro opportunities in basketball, man, and football.
All right, let's go on to update on ABA, East Bay Kings. Basically, we took our first loss, first game of the year against the Delta Stars. I spoke on it earlier. I feel like the talent isn't much of the issue because we got guys that can score, but I think defensively is the area we need to focus on, man. I don't think they switched out a man the whole game. I didn't see any press, even though that's what I've been talking about all off season. And the physicality, man, that's definitely we're probably lacking because they were bigger, and probably a little as far as in the backcourt at least. I noticed our guys didn't look as strong, bring the ball up, and in the paint, trying to drive into the paint. There was some just turnovers and didn't look real stable, sturdy, dribbling the ball through traffic. What was your take on that game? How we can get better, how we can improve? Because there's definitely some bright spots. with Deshaun and LJ. Those look like two guys that's of course they're gonna. I know Deshaun, but LJ, he proved it that he belongs there, and that could be his sidekick. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So there's probably, in terms of saying names, that's probably going to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah.
But overall, what I notice in teams that beat us is not much different than what happened with that team last game. They had 2 or 3 guys that they ran their continuity through, and they continuously had 2 to 3 passes on every possession where they had teammates sharing the ball and movement, right?
Yeah.
And one of those guys was a big, and despite what he looked like, he was as effective as anybody on their team. Their big guy. He was a little sloppy looking, but hey, we couldn't keep him off the boards, and he got whatever shot he wanted inside. And then 25, if we were able to cut his basket in half, and all that is, like you were saying, we have some physical players. The interior guys in particular, I noticed at least we had feet in paint, and for there to be a scuffle, there's something going right on our end. Because that guy that I'm talking about, the big dude, I think he got into it with one of our guys. And that guy was playing tough that night to me.
Mm-hmm.
Him and the guy who returned, who needs to keep his feet in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They had better games in that respect. But there's a lot of guys who are, like, in my opinion, if you're under 6 feet and you're given the ball to be a ball handler, then there's got to be more pride in protecting the basketball, especially in the backcourt. Like the 3Ds, that is fixable. We got to be able to eliminate all of those. How do we do that? Pass the fucking basketball up court. So we can get past half court, and that's not an issue. But do it effectively where you can square up and make an honest pass, bounce pass or chest pass to a teammate. Nothing out of the ordinary. I don't care how boring it looks. We can't afford to keep catching those, because if I heard it right, there was at least 5 or 6 of them. So there you're talking 15 to 20 points right there.
Yeah.
And they didn't put the ball in a basket, and they won by 15 to 20 points. So we could clean that up right there. Then we're even with a team like that, and they were pretty good. But defensively, like you were saying, I think we had a little bit of resistance on him at the end. But that guy wasn't effective offensively. And that's okay. Like, if he's going to come in and just be a stopper, then maybe we can get him some more time. But he was riding. He was up in the face. And, despite his shot selection and what he was doing on the offensive end, he, to me, was the only guy that kind of slowed 25 down. Number 7 was a problem, the lefty. He came off the bench, but he had double figures easily. And, his mid-range to three-point game, for our wing guys, he was a little bit of a problem. I think he was a little unorthodox because he was left-handed and he had game. But, even if there's 3 people, they got to play without 2 of them. And we should be able to eliminate most of their threats.
Yeah.
Enough to where we can still win, because the bottom line is there's too much talent for us to not still, like, we can score 100 points. I don't think that's the concern, because for the most part, guys got enough time, they're in double figures. That's what I did notice.
Mm-hmm.
You pointed out LJ, he got enough time, he was in double figures. Sean was pretty electric. I think he probably could have used a little more spurt of rest. But I still feel like we want to give a little bit more rope to those ball handlers, so he can be more of a guy catching it on the wing, on the break, like 1 to 2 dribbles and he's to the rim.
Yeah.
I think with him, he can average 30 points in the league doing that. If you put the ball in his hands from the start, then, you know, there's going to be more of an onus for him to get other guys involved. And if he's playing the right way, then his shot attempts need to go down, because he needs to have a higher number of assists.
Yeah, he wants to be a point guard. You know what I'm saying? And that's his that's what he feels like. That's his natural position. But I think he can play 1, 2, or the 3. It just depends on who we have, you know. And like you said, it would probably take pressure off him if he was not having to bring it up, and he would have more energy to score even more points.
Exactly.
Finding him in his spots so he can get even more free, you know, and not have to worry about people coming down on him with like 2 people, you know, like in the 2-3, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of pressure, especially, you know, in that league when they start pressing you in the backcourt. That's going to take a lot of energy out of you. So,
yeah,
man.
That point you just made, the pressure and the presses in the backcourt, teams are definitely going to come with that when they see that film. And so, like, it's going to be more important for practice for the pro-am to see guys just push the ball up court. I mean, can we get the ball past half court without putting the ball down on the floor?
Yeah.
I think that's what the goal or the message should be. And that alone can cut those 3Ds in half. I guarantee it. Because we need that much to be able to get away with. Because turnovers going to happen sometimes, but those are preventable.
What's going on with Renz Julian, man? Peasant with King album in stores now. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here getting it many different ways. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all the support, everybody that went and streamed the album and streaming the videos on YouTube. All that support is very much appreciated. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have more than one hustle in this world. Gotta have more than one hustle in America in 2023. So, you know, you gotta be able to be a master of your craft, though. Put thousands of hours into your craft, into your art, into your main career, and that's what I'll continue to do. And I'll continue to be a businessman, an entrepreneur to support my family. You know, but musically, it's a feeling, man. It's an up and down feeling. It's inspiration. Inspiration comes and goes, and as an artist, you gotta wait till you get that feeling to really start creating and get that vibe, and you start whipping up, cooking up in the studio, and all of a sudden you got an album and a concept and a theme. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to find that, and when it comes, and y'all be the first one to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out here. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm still very much an athlete because I take care of my body, take care of myself, and want to live for my kids. You know what I mean? And just keep putting out quality music. Hopefully, the people that follow me for the music, man, I'm gonna continue to do that. It's within me. When I'm inspired, then I'll go ahead and continue to put out albums and I'll put out music. But you know, we're still pushing from a peasant to a king. You know what I'm saying? So that album's done decent. Streams is up in the millions. So you know, I'm thankful and appreciative that independently I was able to create, you know, whatever you want to call it, a fan base locally or a lot of people in the worldwide. No help, man. Ain't nobody helped me with nothing. Look, I do my own beats, all right here in the studio, man, in my house. You know what I'm saying? Several people, when I started finally coming up, started disappearing and getting jealous and shit, but it never stopped me, man. So I want y'all to have that same mentality about your dreams, whether it's on the court, whether it's at work, whether it's your business that you're trying to put together. Just don't stop, man. And don't let the people that you thought was going to be supporting you, when they turn your back on you, don't let that stop you. Because betrayal is like the story of my life, man. So, well, that's a whole nother show. And that's a whole nother topic, man. So when I'm inspired, I'll be able to continue to put this music out. But right now, I feel like hip-hop been dead for a while, man. What y'all don't know is that this shit is controlled by money. And it's also, there's a whole nother subject that it'd be too long to even go into, but the powers that be are putting out some negative images into our community, into the hood, because they want us to stay in the situation that we're in. They don't want us to come up out of that. And I'm one of the people that know about that and here to enlighten folks and try to help us be able to see through all that. And slowly but surely, I hope the fans will start to appreciate the artists that really are coming from the heart and telling stories about their life and how they can empower others to make it out of adversity, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be out here pushing the same old negative stereotypes that, you know, they want to push because they want y'all to go to jail. They want y'all dead. They want the community to stay in shambles. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how the system works in America, man. That's how it works. And overall, the private prisons that the record labels own are profitable when we keep going to jail. And that's why they push, you know, negative music on us in the community. So I'm going to be letting y'all know a little bit about that here and there, man. But, you know, this podcast is all over the place because, you know, that's me. I lived a long life with a lot of different experiences. I'm blessed with many talents. If I die tomorrow, you know, I done lived a full life, you know, and I'm thankful. But I'm going to share my blessings with y'all, share with the community, and we're going to keep it pushing, man. That's it. It's a wrap for this episode. Episode 20. We done made it to 20 episode. It's your boy Renz Julian signing out. Renz 510 Radio, East Bay Kings Podcast.